So, gentlemen, the Eagles sitting at 6-1, best record in the NFL. Let's look at the rest of just the NFC, right? So the question is, who can challenge them? Who can maybe take the top spot in that conference? Anybody have any suggestions?
Pete Schrags, you're grinning.
Well, the Eagles look like the best team in football right now. Forget just the NFC. They look like they are world beaters. But there's a team in that division that got a big win on Sunday that still scares the lights out of me. I'm sorry. I know Eagles fans are throwing remote controls. The Cowboys still are looming. And that win on Sunday was the Cowboys team that we expected. They came off their bye week, and I know they played a winless team, but they went on the road, and they were working on all cylinders. And as much as we've been loving Carson Wentz this season, and as much as we've been crowning him today, the Cowboys have a pretty darn good second-year quarterback, too, who's won a lot of big games in big spots and has been down that road last season. I think it might end up being Eagles and Cowboys in that NFC Championship game.
So.
The Cowboys are just getting going. This Zeke Elliott stuff off the field, I'm not sure how that plays out. I really don't. But I saw a complete Cowboys team, defense, offense, special teams. And Dan Bailey might be down, but they'll find another kicker. And this Cowboys team might get going, and that scares me if I'm an Eagles fan, because we saw last year, once the Cowboys got going, they were very hard to stop.
Now, speaking of getting going, you mentioned the division, you mentioned the conference. There's a team within this division, the Giants, and I'm not talking about them, but there's a team that beat the Giants this past weekend, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. Now, you mentioned getting going. It's only a matter of time before Russell Wilson and that offense, they start to catch a rhythm. Now, we've been waiting pretty much all season, but we're at the halfway mark. So the question is, if we're thinking about who can challenge the Eagles, that's a pretty stout defense. Regardless if you want to say that the Legion and Boom is aging and that Cliff Averill being out might hurt that defensive line. They still got Wagner, they still got Cam, they still got Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman. When it comes down to this defense, this could be a team that could give Carson Wentz and that offense fits.
Yeah, it's the Seahawks defense, and they've been there before.
And they've been there before.
Experience is huge over Dak, over Carson. You have Russell Wilson. I think that's what's scary about them. And if Carson Wentz has to go play there,
and Dak,
I can't wait. Oh, that'd be great.
Field is huge.
And Dak was hot last year. You remember that? And it seemed like nobody could take him down. But experience of Rodgers went out there, and they shut down the Cowboys.
I'm going to go with the Saints. Yeah, because I think you're talking defense, and you were talking about their draft class, like what Marshall Lattimore looks like. This defense is so stout, and it's really nice to see them winning. They have a 4-game win streak, and Drew Brees has thrown 4 interceptions in the last 2 games. They have a run game. They have it all figured out, it looks like, between Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. If Drew Brees doesn't have to do it all and that narrative is busted, then they have a chance to get back. And talk about experience. This is the best quarterback. This is a great team. They've been there before. They have the coaching, and they're going to make a run for it.
This is cool. I think the Saints are one of the best stories right now, and they're hot. I'm going to go another direction. It's going to take a lot, all right, because I think Wentz is the MVP. There's only been 2 quarterbacks who've won the MVP in their second year. Marino did it in '84, and Kurt Warner did it when he was 28 years old. So it's very rare. I'm looking for a team that can just run the snot out of the ball, who has a crazy D-line and can put up a lot of points. I'm going to Los Angeles.
Wow.
I'm looking at the Rams. They are on the schedule. December 10th, the Eagles go to the Coliseum. Again, Gurley, another MVP candidate, put up a lot of points. And that Aaron Donald, Alec Ogletree, they can bring the ruckus. The Rams, who everybody sleeps on, I don't mind them at all. I don't mind them.
I thought you were describing the Minnesota Vikings at first. I was like, okay,
I geeked you up like that.
Can I tell you something?
Yes,
of course. Interesting? Rams took Goff with the 1st overall pick. Eagles took Wentz with the 2nd overall pick. What a story it would be if in their second seasons in the league, they were squaring off for an NFC Championship game in the birth of a Super Bowl.
What I'm talking about.
Before we move along,
can I give you a really quick?
Yeah.
What if I told you that I did the math in 235 miles from Fargo to Minneapolis?
Oh, that sounds like roadie.
Just a cool 3.5-hour drive. What a fun little wrinkle that would be if the Eagles did somehow make it to the Super Bowl.
Can you imagine that story?
There's a lot of Vikings fans in Dakota.
Oh my God.
That's all there is.
And if you want to talk about a storyline that will be beat to the snot, if Wentz is playing in a Super Bowl in Minnesota, get ready, guys. Get ready.
That's
all
what I'm
those
saying.
levels. That is something.
Now,